The church fell silent, a suffocating hush broken only by the soft sobs of Abigail Harper, her white gown pooling around her wheelchair like a shattered dream. Tears carved paths down her face as she stared up at the man who had sworn to love her forever. James, her fiancé, stood tall above her, his face twisted with a cruel resolve that chilled the air. "I can't do this," he declared, his voice slicing through the stunned guests. "I can't marry someone like her." The words hung like poison, and Abigail's world crumbled before the altar. She had always known life was unkind. Orphaned at 3, confined to a wheelchair since birth, her 26 years of battle for every scrap of joy. Finding James had felt like a miracle, a chance at the family she'd never known. Now, on what should have been her happiest day, that hope was ash. The guests shifted, whispers rippling through the pews, some pitying, others gawking at her humiliation. James stepped back from her wheelchair, as if her disability might cling to him. The diamond ring he'd given her 6 months ago burned like a shackle. "You knew," Abigail whispered, her voice breaking. "You said it didn't matter." James's reply was ice. "I was wrong. I thought I could handle it, but I can't live tethered to someone who needs so much." The church doors slammed open, a collective gasp sweeping the crowd as heavy footsteps echoed down the aisle. All eyes turned to the entrance, where a tall figure stood silhouetted against the daylight. Even without seeing his face, an aura of menace radiated from him. As he stepped into the dim light, recognition sparked fear in many. Vincent Moretti, the city's most feared mafia boss, his name a whispered curse written in blood across the underworld. What could bring such a man to a wedding? Vincent moved with predatory grace, his black suit immaculate, his face a mask of stone. Behind him trailed 2 men, one older, scarred, the other younger, eyes cold, both clearly armed. The guests shrank back, parents clutching children, men stepping protectively before their wives. James's face drained of color. "Mr. Moretti," he stammered, "I don't understand." Vincent ignored him, his dark eyes locked on Abigail, whose tears had paused in sheer shock. Without a word, he closed the distance to the altar, towering over her, his broad frame blocking the stained glass light. For a terrible moment, Abigail feared he'd come to harm her, perhaps a debt she didn't know she owed. Instead, Vincent knelt to her eye level, his scarred jaw and eyes that had seen untold violence softening with something unreadable. "Abigail," he said, his voice low and rough, as if her name were a foreign taste. She stared, trembling. "Do I know you?" A muscle twitched in his jaw. "No," he replied simply. Then, to the astonishment of all, he slid one arm beneath her knees, another behind her back, lifting her from the wheelchair as if she weighed nothing. "What are you doing?" Abigail gasped, clutching his shoulders. "Put me down." Vincent turned, Abigail secure in his arms, and strode back down the aisle. Silence reigned. Even James didn't dare protest as the crime lord carried away his abandoned bride. "My wheelchair," Abigail cried, glancing back. "I need it." "Salvatore," Vincent called without turning. The older man folded the wheelchair and followed. Outside, a sleek black limousine waited, its tinted windows gleaming. The sunlight blinded Abigail after the church's gloom. Everything was too fast: rejection, humiliation, now this bizarre abduction by a man whose reputation terrified the city. "Please," she tried as Vincent approached the car. "There's a mistake. I don't know you. I don't owe you anything." Vincent's expression was unreadable. "No mistakes," he said. The younger man opened the car door, and Vincent ducked inside, still holding Abigail. The leather seats were cool beneath her crumpled gown as he set her down. Her wheelchair was stowed in the trunk, and the 2 men slid into seats opposite. The doors closed with a soft thud, sealing her with these dangerous strangers. "You can't just take me," Abigail said, anger replacing shock. "That's kidnapping. The entire church saw you." Vincent settled beside her, leaving careful space. "And what did they do?" he asked quietly. The question silenced her. She'd seen the guests face his friends. Family none had moved to stop him. They'd watched her humiliation and abduction with passive stares. "Where are you taking me?" she asked, clutching her dress. "Home," Vincent replied. The limousine pulled away, leaving the church where her dreams had died. Abigail stared out the window, the city blurring past. She should be screaming, fighting, but a strange numbness settled over her. Perhaps shock, or perhaps any fate seemed better than returning to the apartment she'd shared with James, surrounded by wedding gifts now to be returned. The silence in the car was heavy. Salvatore watched her with calculated indifference, while the younger man, Luca, kept his hand near a bulge under his Chiquita gun, Abigail assumed. Vincent seemed content with silence, his profile sharp against the passing scenery. "You knew my name?" Abigail said finally. "How?" Vincent turned, his eyes unreadable. "I make it my business to know many things." That's not an answer. The corner of his mouth twitched, not quite a smile. "You're brave. Good. You'll need that." Fear crawled up her spine. Need it for what? Vincent offered her a handkerchief, and only then did she realize tears still streaked her face, her makeup ruined, her hair unraveling. She took it reluctantly, the soft fabric embroidered with VM. "Thank you," she said, politeness overriding fear. The city gave way to suburbs, then rural hills. Abigail's dread grew with each mile. These woods were where bodies were found. Headlines she'd skimmed, now terrifyingly relevant. "Please," she tried, her voice small. "My parents died when I was 3. I have no family, no one to pay a ransom. I have nothing." "This isn't about money," Vincent said, eyes on the road. "Then what is it about?" He turned, something flickering in his stoic gaze. "Safety." The limousine turned onto a private drive, passing a guarded gate. A mansion loomed ahead, a stone fortress with Gothic arches and sprawling gardens. High walls and armed guards marked it as untouchable. The car stopped at the entrance, wide steps leading to massive doors. Abigail's heart sank. Steps, always a barrier. As if reading her mind, Vincent said, "There's a ramped entrance on the side." But for now, he lifted her again, carrying her past blank-faced guards. Inside, the mansion was dark luxury high ceilings, old-world craftsmanship. Vincent set her in a sitting room, her gown stark against burgundy upholstery. Salvatore positioned her wheelchair nearby, a small comfort. A stern voice called from the doorway, "Mr. Moretti." A woman in her 60s, silver hair in a tight bun, stood there, her black dress severe. "Clara," Vincent acknowledged. "This is Abigail. She'll stay with us. Prepare the East Wing suite." Clara's appraising look softened briefly. "Of course. Shall I send up clothing?" "The lady seems unexpectedly dressed." Abigail almost laughed at the understatement. "Yes," Vincent said. "And food, anything she needs." He turned to Abigail. "Clara is my housekeeper. Ask her for anything. Settle in." Abigail repeated incredulously. "This is kidnapping." "I can," Vincent said, his tone final. "You'll remain here under my protection until it's safe to leave." "Protection from what?" she demanded. "The only danger I've met today is you." A flash of something anger, hurt crossed his face. "You know nothing of danger, Abigail. But you'll be safe here." He left, and Clara sighed, her posture softening. "Come, child, let's get you out of that dress. Food helps. Things always look better after food." Abigail's first night was sleepless, the luxurious suite larger than her old apartment. Silk sheets couldn't calm her. Every creak startled her, the shadow of Vincent's reputation looming. Morning brought Clara with breakfast and clothes pants and a blouse tailored for her wheelchair. "Mr. Moretti had these delivered," Clara said. Abigail wheeled to the closet, stunned by a wardrobe designed for her needs, elegant, accessible, thoughtful. "How did he know?" she whispered. Clara shrugged. "He notices things others don't." As Abigail ate, she gazed at the fortified grounds, guards patrolling. "Am I a prisoner?" she asked. Clara paused. "The security isn't to keep you in, child. It's to keep others out." "Who?" "Mr. Moretti has enemies." "Many. Why should I care about his enemies?" Clara's eyes darkened. "Because now they're yours too." Clara showed her the mansion art-filled rooms, a vast library, a conservatory of exotic plants. Ramps and wide hallways hinted at long-planned accommodations. "How long has he been planning this?" Abigail asked in a sunlit solarium. "Planning what?" Clara replied, evasive. "These accommodations weren't made overnight." Clara's expression stayed neutral. "Mr. Moretti has owned this house for years. They've always been here." Vincent entered, his presence less imposing in daylight, his white shirt revealing scarred forearms. "You're awake," he said. "I hope you slept well." The absurdity broke her. Slept well? You tore me from my wedding. A wedding that was over, Vincent cut in coldly. Or did you want to stay humiliated? Abigail flinched, the wound raw. That wasn't your choice to make. Perhaps not, he conceded, surprising her. But you're here. Safe. Safe from what? His jaw tightened. The world is dangerous for someone like you. Her eyes flashed. Someone like me? I've navigated this body for 26 years, Mr. Moretti. I don't need your protection. Admiration flickered in his eyes. I didn't mean your disability. I meant someone innocent. Good. Goodness doesn't last in this city without protection. They ate lunch in tense silence, the domesticity surreal. The clothes fit, he noted. Anything else you need? Answers, Abigail said. Why am I here? He studied her. You have nowhere else to go. Your fiancé abandoned you. No family. Your friends watched. Here, you have safety, comfort. Except freedom, she pointed out. He leaned forward. Freedom to what? Face pity? Stay? Give it time. It wasn't a request. 1 week, Abigail said suddenly. I'll stay without trying to leave or call the police. But you have to be honest. No vague answers. His eyebrows rose, surprised by her negotiation. 1 week. Some questions I can't answer yet. First question, how do you know me? We've never met, but you knew my name. A muscle twitched in his jaw. I know many things about this city. That's not an answer. Why me? His expression softened. You are important. Curiosity drove Abigail to explore the mansion, drawn to the forbidden west wing despite Vincent's warning. Near its heavy doors, she overheard him arguing with Salvatore. We can't afford distractions, Salvatore said. The Caruso family thinks you've gone soft. Let them, Vincent replied. It'll make their surprise greater when I crush them. And the girl? Bringing her here, into our operation? If they learn who she is to you, enough, Vincent snapped. She stays. She's safer here. You risk everything for her, Salvatore softened. Tell her the truth. She's not ready, Vincent said, pain in his voice. She doesn't remember. And when she does, she'll hate me for what I've become. Abigail's heart pounded. Remember what? She fled as footsteps neared, but a wrong turn led to a hallway lined with photographs not art, but personal. Her breath caught at a faded image of children at St. Mary's orphanage, where she'd spent her childhood. In it, a young Abigail, 6, sat in her wheelchair, a skinny boy of 12 behind her, his hand protective on her shoulder. Vincent. More photos showed them together reading, at Christmas, in the snow always him near, guarding. How had she forgotten? You weren't supposed to find these, Vincent said behind her. She turned, clutching a frame. We knew each other at St. Mary's. You protected me. His face was vulnerable. Yes. But I don't remember you clearly. How? He took the frame, replacing it. They gave you medication for pain. It blurred your memory. Later, it was better you forgot me. Better how? Her voice rose. Why hide this? His expression hardened. The boy in those photos is gone. What remains isn't someone you should remember fondly. That's for me to decide, she insisted. He sighed, weary. Come. I'll show you where it began. In a private study, he opened a worn leather box containing a ribbon, a carved bird, childish letters, and a braided bracelet. You kept these, she whispered. All I took when I left St. Mary's, he said. You made this bracelet for my 14th birthday. Said it'd protect me. A memory surface-edged, called him Vinny. They told me you ran away, she said. Abandoned me. His jaw tightened. They lied. He explained. The orphanage director, Father Cole, had arrangements with criminals, placing boys like Vincent with men like Russo, a mafia recruiter. To protect Abigail from a worse fate, Vincent went willingly, threatening Cole to ensure her safety. I told him I'd burn St. Mary's down with him inside if you were hurt, he said coldly. She shivered, believing him. He joined Russo, learned the trade, and rose to power, always watching her from afar, arranging her apartment, scholarship, job. Why now, she asked. Why come for me at the church? His composure cracked. I saw you crying. That man humiliated you, and I remembered a promise I made to a little girl 20 years ago. No one would hurt you again. Their fragile trust was tested when Salvatore reported an ambush by Dante Caruso, Vincent's former mentor turned rival. Vincent returned wounded, blood staining his shirt. Abigail tended his injuries, their shared past resurfacing. "You've protected me for 20 years, she said, cleaning his knuckles. "Maybe it's time someone looked after you." He flinched at her gentleness. "Why?" he asked. "Because Vinny cleaned my scrapes, read to me, threatened an orphanage for me," she said softly. His composure broke. "That boy is gone." "No," she countered. "He's here, keeping his promise." She touched his face. "Who protected you, Vinny?" He closed his eyes, leaning into her touch. "No one." "Maybe your world needs to change," she said. He offered her a choice: stay, not as a prisoner, but to explore what they could be. She agreed, and their days grew into cautious connection meals, conversations, Vincent reading Russian folktales as he had in the orphanage. But danger loomed. Caruso, knowing Abigail's importance, targeted her. Vincent locked down the mansion, but Abigail refused to hide. "Use me," she urged. "Let Caruso think I'm weak. Use his mistake." Reluctantly, Vincent agreed. In the library, Abigail lured Caruso's men into a gas trap, proving her strength. Vincent faced Caruso alone, killing him but returning wounded. In the bunker, he confessed, "I love you, Abigail. Always have. Everything I've done was for you." She reciprocated, "I love you too, Vinny. All of you." Their love reshaped Vincent's empire. Abigail's influence pushed it toward legitimacy, violence a last resort. Vincent offered her co-ownership and a sapphire ring, proposing a partnership in life and business. Their wedding in the mansion's gardens was a vow of equality, their guests witnessing a new era. "I promise to stand beside you," Vincent said, "to share my strength." Abigail vowed, "To see you clearly, to be your equal." Under the stars, they built a future not of fear, but of love, equal in value, different in circumstance, a testament to resilience and redemption.